Yo bros, and welcome to this Minecraft tutorial. In today's video we're going to be building this radical beach house. You can find a link to the build's inspiration below. You want to start by clearing out an area of 12 blocks by 16 blocks for the build. These are the materials you will need for the build, and you may have some placeholder blocks left over at the end. Now let's build. To get started we're going to add the ground floor. First, add a block of calcite on top of all of the red and black concrete blocks. Then, using mostly jungle slabs, you want to add a layer of jungle slabs and oak slabs on top of the blue and brown outline. Then, using mostly jungle slabs again, you want to fill in the gap between the slabs with more jungle and oak slabs. Next, on top of the pink concrete, add a layer of deep slate tile slabs. Finally, you'll want to fill in the calcite outline with a layer of strip spruce logs, with the logs going horizontally from the front of the house, which is the side with the 3 deep slate tile slabs. For the front of the house, come to where your deep slate tile slabs are, and starting in the left hand corner on top of the calcite, build a 3x10 block wall with cyan concrete, whilst also mixing in a small number of cyan wool and cyan concrete powder. To the right, add a birch door with an upside down warped stair on top. Then on top of the stair, add a cyan wool block and a cyan concrete block. To the right of the door, add a 5 block high pillar using cyan concrete, cyan wool and cyan concrete powder. To the right of the pillar, add a 2x1 wall of cyan concrete and cyan wool on top of the calcite blocks. Then on top, add a 2x2 wall of white stained glass panes. On top of the left side of the window, add a 2 block high pillar of cyan concrete. Then on top of the right side of the window, add a 7 block high pillar using cyan concrete and cyan wool blocks. Over at the right hand corner, build a 2x10 wall using cyan concrete, cyan wool and cyan concrete powder. On top of the cyan blocks in the centre of the wall, add a row of 3 anvils. Place a layer of orange carpets on top of the anvils. Then join the left and right sides at the top with a 3x2 wall of cyan concrete. In front of the left corner calcite block, add an open jungle fence gate. Then add a barrow facing away from the wall on top of the fence gate. On the front of the barrow, add a birch sign with the house number or name. I will also be adding orange dye and glow ink to my sign. Over at the window, add 2 blocks of dirt underneath. Surround the front, sides and bottom of the dirt with spruce trapdoors. Then add 2 flowers on top of the dirt. In front of the warped stair and top row of glass, add a jungle trapdoor to the top of the block. To the left of the warped stair, add a jungle fence. Add another jungle fence between the warped stair and the top layer of glass. Then to the right of the top layer of glass, add another jungle fence. Hang a lantern from the bottom of the fences. Then place a jungle trapdoor on top of all the fences. Next, at the top of the hole above the anvils, add a jungle fence to the blocks on the left and right hand sides. Hang a lantern from the bottom of the fences. Place a jungle trapdoor on the fences. Then add 2 jungle trapdoors to the top of the left and right blocks in front of the hole. Then add a jungle trapdoor to the bottom of the block just above the centre of the hole. Coming over to the right of the house, you want to build a 2x14 block wall starting at the left hand side of the wall using cyan concrete, cyan wool and cyan concrete powder. To the right, build a 2x15 block wall using the same mixture of cyan blocks. Then to the right once more, build a 5x16 block wall using the same mixture of cyan blocks. Coming to the back wall of the building, start by adding a 16 block high pillar of cyan concrete, cyan wool and cyan concrete powder at the left of the calcite outline. To the right, add 2 birch doors on the inside of the calcite blocks. Then add a block of white stained glass above each door. On top of the piece of glass at the left, add a 7 block pillar of cyan concrete and cyan concrete powder. Then on top of the glass block at the right, add a cyan wool block and a cyan concrete block. To the right of the doors, add a 5 block pillar of cyan concrete. To the right of the pillar, add a 2x3 wall of white stained glass panes. On top of the left side of the glass panes, add a cyan concrete powder block and a cyan wool block. Then on top of the glass panes at the right side, add a 7 block pillar of cyan concrete, cyan wool and cyan concrete powder. To the right of the glass, add a 16 block pillar of cyan concrete, cyan wool and cyan concrete powder. To the right, add another 2x3 wall of white stained glass panes. On top of the glass at the left, add a 13 block pillar of cyan concrete, cyan wool and cyan concrete powder. Add a single cyan concrete block on top of the right side of the glass panes. Then to the right of the glass, add a 2x4 wall of cyan concrete and cyan wool. In the centre of the bottom hole in the wall, add a birch door to the back of the cyan concrete block. Then coming 1 block behind the door, surround the door with white stained glass so the glass should be inside of the building. Above the door and glass, add a 3x2 wall of cyan concrete and cyan wool. Above this wall, add a 5 long layer of anvils. Top the anvils off with an orange carpet. Then join the top of the back wall with a 5x2 layer of cyan concrete and cyan wool. Then to finish up the back wall, we're going to add in an awning. Underneath the anvils at the top of the wall, add a 5 wide layer of wool going white, orange, white, orange, white. Underneath the white wool on the left and right hand sides, add a 2 high jungle fence. Then in front of the top jungle fences, add another layer of wool using the same pattern as before. Underneath the bottom white wool at the sides, add a single jungle fence. Then underneath the bottom 3 centre wool blocks, add an open jungle fence gate. Against the back wall, add another white wool block to the left and right hand sides of the bottom layer of wool. Hang a lantern from underneath these 2 wool blocks. Then finish the awning by adding a couple of orange and white carpets on top of the matching wool blocks. Over at the left wall, start by building a 2x14 block wall starting at the right hand side using cyan concrete, cyan wool and cyan concrete powder. To the left, build a 2x15 block wall using the same mixture of cyan blocks. Then to the left again, add a 16 block high pillar using the same mixture of cyan blocks. To the left of this pillar, come up 5 blocks and build a 2x7 wall using the same mixture of cyan blocks. On top of this wall, add a 2x2 window of white stained glass panes. Then on top of the window, add a 2x3 wall of cyan concrete. Then to the left once more, come up 5 blocks and build a 12 block high pillar using the same mixture of cyan blocks. On top of the calcite outline in front of the wall, add a 4x4 wall using the same mixture of cyan blocks. Then coming to the right of the calcite outline, add a 2x3 wall of cyan concrete and cyan wool. Coming to the back of the building again, you want to build a 4 block high pillar of cyan concrete, cyan wool and cyan concrete powder on top of the 4 individual calcite blocks. Then join the pillars by adding a 12 long layer of stripped jungle logs on top, making sure the logs are going horizontally. Then place a stone button on the front of the logs that are directly above the pillars. Then on top of the same logs, add a 2 high pillar using the same mixture of cyan blocks. Top these pillars off with a jungle trapdoor. Place an item frame on the front of the top cyan block. Then place a stone block inside the item frame. Then take your torches and click on the same cyan block to place a torch on it. On top of the stripped jungle logs between the pillars, place a row of jungle fence gates. Then coming around to the left of the decking, place a 4 long layer of stripped jungle logs to connect the corner pillar with the back wall. Then add another button to the stripped jungle log at the right hand corner. On top of the logs, add another layer of jungle fence gates. Now over at the right side, place a layer of stripped jungle logs to connect the corner pillar to the end of the cyan wall at the right. Add a stone button to the 2 end logs. On top of the end log at the right, add a cyan wool block and a cyan concrete powder block. Top the pillar off with a jungle trapdoor. Place an item frame on the front of the cyan concrete powder block. Then place a stone block inside of the item frame. Then take a torch and click on the cyan concrete powder block to place a torch on it. And finally join the 2 pillars by adding a layer of jungle fence gates above the stripped jungle logs. To get up to the decking from the outside of the building, come to the front wall, then coming in 1 block from the wall, build a 2 wide and 5 long staircase using jungle and oak stairs. Then for the floor of the decking, fill in the gap between the stripped jungle logs and the walls of the house using jungle and oak slabs placed at the bottom of the blocks. Coming to the side of the staircase, place a stripped jungle log beside the bottom layer of stairs on the ground, making sure the log is going vertically. Place 2 jungle fences on top of the log. To the right, add another stripped jungle log going vertically. Add a single jungle fence on top of this log. To the left of these 2 logs, come up a block and add another stripped jungle log going vertically. Place 2 jungle fences on top of this log. Then coming over to the left and up a block again, place another stripped jungle log going vertically with 2 jungle fences on top. Then come over to the left again and add another stripped jungle log with 2 fences on top. Finally, add upside down jungle stairs underneath the 3 logs above the ground and the stairs beside them. Then finish off the decking by coming underneath it and hang a lantern from the decking at the 2 corners of the back wall. Then hang another lantern from the slabs in front of the 2 cyan pillars between the doors and the windows. Then finally hang a lantern from the decking in front of the 4 cyan pillars connected to the decking. Now it's time to start working on the interior, so coming inside of the building, start by adding a layer of birch planks around the bottom of the walls, making sure not to block any doors or windows. Then add a 3 high layer of white concrete on top of the birch planks, making sure not to block any doors or windows again. On the floor in front of the doors at the front and back of the building, add a black carpet. Then inside the little corner room at the back of the building, add a double chest against the window. Then in the corner behind the double chest, add an armour stand. Next, at the wall to the left of the front door as you come into the building, add a 1 wide and 5 long staircase of spruce stairs. Then underneath the stairs, add a crafting bench, some bookcases and an armour stand. At the wall opposite the staircase, add a cauldron filled with water in the corner. Then to the left of the cauldron, add 2 furnaces. Then to the left of the furnaces, add a barrel with white banners on the sides. Above the barrel and cauldron, add a spruce trapdoor to the top of the block. Then place a potted bamboo on one trapdoor and a potted cactus on the other. In between the spruce trapdoors, add 2 iron trapdoors. Above the iron trapdoors, add an upside down polished andesite stair. Above the stairs, add a polished andesite block. And in front of the blocks, add a polished black stone button. Finally, against the wall between the stairs and the kitchen, add 2 barrels surrounded with white banners, making sure the black barrels on the barrels are facing up. For the next level of the house, start by adding a floor of horizontal strip spruce logs, one block above the white concrete walls, making sure not to block the stairs. In front of the 3 anvils at the front of the building, add a 3x3 window of white stained glass panes. Next, add a layer of birch planks around the bottom of the walls, making sure not to block any doors or windows. Then add a 3 high layer of white concrete on top of the birch planks, again making sure not to block any doors or windows. Then add a layer of white concrete on top of the glass at the front and back of the room. Above the stairs coming up from the ground floor, add a 2x2 painting on the wall. Then in the corner behind the stairs, add 2 jungle fences. And top the fences off with a black carpet. Add a top layer of glass above the door at the back wall, add a spruce trapdoor to the top of the left corner and centre blocks. Then add a lantern and an amethyst bud on top of the trapdoors. Over at the wall opposite the stairs to get up to this floor, come over 2 blocks from the right hand corner and add a 1 wide and 3 long staircase of spruce stairs. Next, add a spruce slab to the bottom of the block to the right and above the last spruce stair. Then coming out from the spruce slab, add a 2 long spruce staircase with the first stair starting at the same height as the spruce slab. Underneath this new staircase, hang a lantern under the slab. Then fill the rest of the space with a grindstone, stone cutter, ender chest, and a crafting bench. And finally, add a 1x2 painting to the right of the staircase. For the final floor of the building that will act as a bedroom, start by adding a floor of horizontal strip spruce logs on top of the white concrete, making sure not to block the stairs. In front of the 5 anvils at the back of the building, add a 5x4 window of white stained glass panes. Next, add a layer of birch planks around the bottom of the walls, making sure not to block any windows. Then on top of the birch planks, add a layer of white concrete that goes up to the top of the cyan walls, making sure not to block any windows again. Then finish the walls by adding a 2 high layer of white concrete on top of the back window to connect the 2 side walls. Place a bed at the edge of the floor over at the front side of the building. Add a spruce plank to the left and right hand sides of the bed. Add an item frame to the front of these planks. Then place an iron trapdoor inside the item frame and rotate it until it's positioned at the top of the item frame. Then add a sea pickle on top of one of the planks and some lit candles on top of the other plank. On the floor in front of the bed, add a 3x4 checker pattern rug using white carpet and orange carpet. To the left of the 2x2 window at the side of the building, add a double chest so it lines up with the centre of the rug. Then add a 2 wide row of spruce trapdoors to the top of the blocks above the double chest. Then on top of the trapdoors, add a potted crimson fungus and a lantern. Then coming 2 blocks to the left of the spruce trapdoors, add a 1x1 painting to the wall. On the wall opposite the spruce trapdoor shelf, add another 2 wide spruce trapdoor shelf. This time add a turtle egg and a lantern on top of these trapdoors. Under the right trapdoor, add a single chest. And finish up the bedroom by adding an armour stand to the right of the single chest. Now it's time to add the roof. Start by coming to the front of the building and add an 11 wide layer of brick and granite blocks on top of the front cyan wall. Then coming up a block, add a 4x2 wall of bricks and granite to the left and right hand sides. Then in the gap, add a 3x2 window of white stained glass panes. Then on top of the glass, add another 11 wide layer of brick and granite blocks. Next, come up in a block to the centre of the build and add an 11 wide and 2 long layer of brick and granite blocks. Again, come up in a block to the centre of the build and add another 11 wide and 2 long layer of brick and granite blocks. Now come up in a block again and this time add an 11 wide and 5 long layer of bricks. Then coming to the back wall, add an 11 wide row of granite and brick blocks in front of the top layer of cyan blocks. Hang an end rod from underneath the 2 corner blocks. Then hang a chain and a lantern from the end rod. Finally, to finish off the building, come back inside and hang some lanterns from the ceilings of each room. And there we have it, your very own beach house. If you'd like to mix up the build to make it a bit different, using light blue blocks in place of the cyan blocks also looks good for the build. Or you could change it up more by having the corners of the walls made out of concrete blocks, then use planks to fill in the rest of the wall, which would give it that traditional wooden beach house look. Thank you very much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe for more Minecraft content in the future. But if you'll excuse me, I need to go hit the waves while the weather's nice. Bye!